Welcome back to the Talk at Elevation, the show where we shine light on voices that move the game forward. Today's episode is brought to you by Fanday Nation, where we believe one thing: everyone deserves to be seen. Our guest today is Jim, an Olympian national team captain, a championship-winning coach whose career is rooted in resilience, adaptability, and relationships. Jim, welcome to the Talk at Elevation.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Your pro sports career came at an unstable time during soccer. How did learning to adapt help you long term?
Well, yeah, it was unstable. The teams are always folding or moving. Leagues are always folding or moving. So I think what happened was I learned how to be have that on to the next attitude where, you might get cut from a team, you go find another team, the league might fold, so you find another league to play in, and you just kind of keep going on to the next opportunity. And I think it gave me a little bit of resilience in that I didn't have that, I got cut, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to make it. I just rubbed it off and said, hey, well, that's on to the next one. I'll try somebody else. So, yeah.
So during that time when outdoor soccer was going through those challenges and stuff, indoor soccer kind of became your niche. What did that fast-paced game teach you about decision-making and resilience?
Yeah, great question. There's in indoor soccer, it's kind of like soccer under a microscope. Everything happens a lot more volume, a lot more frequency, decision-making, wins, learnings, just all the little moments. It happens so much, and it was very entertaining. It was a lot of fun, and it was lots of change, but it also increased the amount of experiences you had and more opportunities to make those decisions and more chance to learn and develop and grow.
That's awesome.
Awesome. As an Olympian and long-term futsal captain, what did leadership mean to you when recognition wasn't always there?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because, leadership is, for me means leading by example and being a servant leader, not someone who's out in front. I was never the cheerleader, get everybody going. I was more the, all right, this is what I think we should do. Let's go. And I'm the first one to step up and do it. So the recognition part of it, I think I got rewarded for the recognition, not so much in, media and fans, but more importantly from my teammates and coaches and people that have kind of done that job and been in that position. And that's, to me, I think that should be a lot more rewarding than, how many times you get seen out in the
100%.
media.
Right. They post you on Instagram
Yeah.
compared to what your teammates think of you.
Yeah.
I would agree. That's probably definitely more important.
Agreed.
You coached while you were still playing, actually. How did that experience kind of shape your player-first mindset versus that coaching aspect?
Well, right before I went to LA, where I played for the LA Lasers, the Bus family with, the Lakers at the time. Magic Johnson was there, and Wayne Gretzky was playing for the Kings. So that was kind of when I was a rock star. But right before I went to that, I was landed in my lap being a player coach. Our coach left us mid-season to become coach of the Lasers. He would take 3 or 4 of us there for the next year, but in the meantime, I was left there. I was player assistant coach, so now I'm the player coach. And we hired a sports psychologist. Actually, the owners hired one for us. And he worked for the University of Louisville, worked for a couple of high schools, and every team he had been with won their championship. So
Oh, wow.
he put us through a big, long written leadership test.
What did that kind of look like?
It was all written like 4 or 5 pages, all different questions, and then they had a score and different areas of strengths and weaknesses. And of the
Interesting.
3 of us that took it, I finished last, but I was the player coach. But I had a great group of guys, and they kind of rallied around me and made some hard decisions. But the bottom line was we ended up going on to win a championship that we couldn't win the first 2 years with our other coach. So it was super rewarding, one of the most rewarding experiences in sports for me, because it wasn't just me bringing the team; it was the whole team, ownership, sports psychologist. It's just like everybody in the organization uh, had a part in that success.
That's awesome. What was it like to win that championship? Finally after that third season.
It was incredible because it was a place that nobody could win there in that building. And it was a 5 game series, and they had home field advantage. So it actually alternated. Every team won their home
Okay.
game until the deciding game. And we had 2 goalkeepers who were alternating every game. So now it's the 5th game. So I got to make a decision. Do you stay with the alternating? Um, and then the other
Oh, that's
decision I
really
had
cool.
was, do I play an established veteran forward, or do I play a young American who was playing really well? The first decision, 2 goalkeepers, it's funny. Um, I went into each of their rooms the night before and said, well, how you feeling? And
You're like, fight it out.
not, separately. So I went in
Yeah.
the older veteran goalkeeper, and he's like, yeah, I'm here, whatever you need, the, whatever's best for the team, you decide. So I went to the
Right.
other guy's locker room, and before I could even say a word, he goes, I want to play. I'm like, you're in.
All right.
So
You're like, that's what I was looking
yeah.
for.
And then
There
the
we go.
American kid, I ended up starting him. It was a really hard decision, but and the veteran player made it really hard on me. Oh, I have to play. I can't come off the bench. I'm like, well, this is what we need you to
Right.
do. And we won the game 5-4, and the American player scored all 5 goals. So can't
Wow.
write that stuff in the book. It's like trust.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great calling by you.
Yeah, just
Super
trust your
exciting.
gut. It's like I felt like it was the right thing to do,
Seriously.
and I
And it sure was, those
fortunately,
5 goals.
fortunately, yeah.
That's amazing.
Awesome. As the first head coach of Washington Freedom, how do you create stability during a constantly changing league?
Yeah, it wasn't so much a constantly changing league. It was a brand new league, a brand new
Oh,
professional league in the U.S. for women. So you had a lot of female players that the only way they could play was to go to Europe. Now they had to leave their hometown or their colleges and come with a whole group of new players in a whole different environment. So what I did was I was very selective in my player signing process. Anybody who I drafted or signed or was allocated, I put them under contract and had decided to myself that I'm sticking with them for the whole year. And any trades or changes that I was going to make were going to be postseason. And I felt like that added some stability in a very unstable and uncertain times. And we did have to make one trade, but that was mostly because we needed kind of a jolt in the team culture, and we had some injuries, and Mia Hamm was hurt most of the year, but we finished tied for last, and that allowed us to draft Abby Wambach in the second season. We went to the championship that
Nice.
second season, ironically enough, against the team that we tied for last in the first season.
Of course.
And then the third season, we went back to the championship and won the championship. So it was, all things
Right.
happen for a reason.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. So you're like, you every 3 times it seems like you win those championships.
yeah, yeah. Been
There,
fortunate,
there we go.
yeah.
3 might be your lucky number.
picking the right people.
Exactly. So you've seen so many players, growing up feeling frustrated or overlooked. What kind of advice would you give them, about soccer, about life?
Um, 3 words: trust the process. And
Boom.
Love it.
you can't have it right away. I know everybody today wants instant gratification. They all want to be top of the corporation or big
The
big
best.
star right from the start. And it's just trust that things will happen if you do it the right way. Good things will happen for you, and it might take time.
Yeah, totally.
Well said.
Kind of going off that, with our motto, everyone deserves to be seen, how do you help young athletes feel valued beyond stats or playing time?
The best advice I can give is know your role and perform your role to the best of your ability, and the recognition and being seen. If you're with a good team and you're with a good coach, that will happen internally. If it's recognition that you're looking for outside of the team, that's a dangerous thing to seek. I think if you have a good working with your coach and with yourself and knowing exactly what your role is, if you do that to the best of your ability, you're going to find that you're going to be seen by everybody within the team, and the whole organization, and you're going to be recognized. Now, if you're starting and playing every minute of the game, and there's a player they're just a practice player, they're playing just as valuable a role, and most players and coaches understand that has a lot of impact on the team and the team's success.
Yeah.
How is character an important part of, being on a team and when you come to selecting these kids?
It's right up there with as one of the top 2 or 3 things that I look for. Because you can have all the gifts and be a bad teammate, and it's not going to help your team out. It's going
Right.
to
You're not helping anyone.
no.
It's not going to work.
So I used to always like to watch players, how they're interacting with their teammates, with their coaches, with the trainer, with fans, with their parents. In between games, halftime, warm-ups, when the camera's not on, and things outside the highlight tape, and just see how they interact with them. And a lot of times you can see character, little clues of who that person really is in all those little moments.
For sure.
For sure.
And that's one thing I tell
how
people is, you never know who's watching you when you're doing anything.
Oh, yeah. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
People are always watching.
Everywhere. How does your coaching background influence the way you help as a financial advisor today?
Well, my coaching experience and style perfectly aligns with what I do as a financial coach. And, I get to help those that maybe have been overlooked in the financial industry. And I get to offer financial education, my coaching on the financial side, and offer people a financial plan, like a game plan, so that they can achieve financial freedom. And what really resonates the most with me is the fiduciary part of it, where I have to put what's best for the client first, and I have to find out what's important to them, and then I have to do what's best for them. I'm not just, selling them some random product because it's good for me. It's got to be good for the client, and I get to do what's right. And that fiduciary role is, in my perception, a coach in their greatest focus.
That's awesome. What does that game plan kind of look like when you're starting with these new clients?
Well, we do like an interview process and get all of their information and get a good idea of what their situation's like, and then walk them through all the different areas. It's a great little software we use, and just ask questions and find out what's important to them, and target some areas that we can have discussions on, and where to start, and then deliver them a financial plan on how. And then the third meeting is how to get started on that financial plan. We start to put some of the things in place for them.
Awesome. All right, last question for you, Jim. How do you want to be remembered? Hard one.
Yeah, that is a hard one. I don't know, just someone who is fair, hardworking, honest, family first, team second. That's kind of the way it is.
There we go.
There we go.
That's awesome. Jim, your perspective on guiding young athletes and trusting the process is very powerful and enlightening. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been the Talk at Elevation. Thanks to Fan Day Nation. And remember, everyone deserves to be seen. We'll see you next time.